It's just more of my dreams slipping away. It's more of what I hoped for slipping away. I just don't know how to let it go.
Welcome to Sister Wives Daily. Imagine if all that you thought you knew about family, about love, loyalty, and trust, was smoke and mirrors. Imagine if the one person you had faith was keeping it all together was the exact one discreetly unraveling it. This is the Brown family's breakdown, a tale where secrets aren't spoken, they're aired on national television, sewn between tearful interviews and flawlessly edited scenes. In the middle of it all, a woman whose contradictions may not be emotional ambivalence, they may be strategy. Today we're pulling back the curtain, from Robyn's whispered secrets to Kody's deliberate silence. This isn't just about polygamy. This is about control, about deception, about the moment when the tales you weave to keep your family safe end up killing it. So hold on tight. Robyn assured her children she never told them Christine was leaving. She did, not once, several times. The timeline, it's a disaster. The emotions, they're raw, the secrets, deeper than people ever realized. This is the narrative they wished you'd never be able to piece together. The one hidden beneath camera work and tearful close-ups. But we're not here for the cut. We're here for what really happened. I haven't said a word to my kids. It's going to be a big surprise, Robyn lied, playing dumb. But the audience wasn't buying it. She'd already let them in on the secret. Only 2 weeks later, during Isabel's birthday and graduation party, Robyn matter-of-factly spoke of her kids. Yes, even tiny Solomon and Ari, already being in the know about Christine's leave. But if they knew, why didn't truly? The children had played for hours. Ari, notorious for blurting out everything, was quiet. Not once. Either Ari had achieved monk-like self-control, or the reality is that Truly had figured it out long before she was officially informed. The stilted laughter, the furtive glances, the silence, all of it seemed practiced, not uncovered. This was no organic unfolding. This was a script. And just when Christine is about to finally inform Truly, Kody abruptly becomes interested in going, but not to discuss, just to hang out, something he'd never done before. It wasn't honesty. It was avoiding the truth to preserve a fantasy. But the facade fell when Christine had a conversation with Mykelti regarding moving. Truly heard. The truth spilled out, not by way of a heart-to-heart, but by way of a gap in the story. And yet, Robyn persisted. She kept it from her children. But she had. And it wasn't the first time she'd lied. She's even said she's good at lying. Flashback to Season 4, Episode 6. Robyn smiles as she discusses faking a scratch on the car in order to surprise Kody for Valentine's Day. She happily declares she lied. When Mary asked if she was good at lying, Robyn didn't bat an eye. Oh yes, definitely. No remorse, just assurance. Christine and Janelle caught on early. Even the older children weren't deceived. Her deceptions weren't subtle. They were brazen, blatant, bathed in charm. Yet Kody and Mary continued to fall for them. Such as when Mary asked to bring Solomon on a Utah trip. She felt it could make things simpler. Robyn said no, that Solomon was too emotionally connected. She was pregnant and didn't want stress. On paper, it made sense. But to Mary, it seemed like another rejection. Then Robyn asked Brianna to take her place. That stung even harder. Mary walked out, the door slammed, and nothing more had to be said. Robyn's reason sounded like parenting, but it looked like a pattern of keeping her kids close and keeping them away from everyone else. Then came the kitchen wars. I've got 2 wives who think sharing a kitchen is abusive, Kody joked. But behind the joke was truth. Mary was compulsive about cleanliness. Janelle was loose. Christine did things her own way. Even the adult children recalled the battles, over oranges, over microwaves, over detergent. It wasn't messy. It was messy below the surface. Kody remained quiet until the public narrative shifted. Suddenly, Mary was the bad guy. Christine and Janelle were the survivors. But within that house, no one emerged unscathed. Everyone was wounded. After the ATV accident, Robyn begged Kody to talk to Janelle and Mary. She still clung to the dream of the family land. But it wasn't hope, it was control. She discouraged Mary from going back to school, told her to stay close for the kids. But did Robyn do the same for Mary's children? Did she show up for their wins, celebrate their milestones, or just give speeches? Robyn knows how to do sorrow, she's refined. Her words are guarded, her tears arrive on schedule. And somehow, in every iteration of the tale, she's always the victim. Now consider Mary. She surrendered her lawful marriage to Robyn. What did she receive? Years of being set aside, emotional remoteness, manipulation packaged as worry. Kody even presented her with a list. Things she needed to correct before he'd attempt again, as if love was something you worked towards with good deeds. Mary waited for over a decade. No intimacy, no integrity, only silence, only eternal family speech concealing spiritual blackmail. Her wedding band vanished, first from her finger, then from her heart, the day Kody wedded Robyn. She remained, not because she was loved, but because she was faithful, because she was scared, because she still held hope. And somewhere in that tale, Robyn arrived. And all was altered. She didn't just introduce her kids to the Brown family. She brought mortgage payments. And no, that wasn't made entirely clear, not to the audience and not even, it appears, to the wives. Kody said he owned up to his past money troubles, but his credit reports screamed louder. A knotted knot of last names, duplicative debts, and financial problems that appeared to extend infinitely in every direction. Janelle fidgeted uncomfortably. Mary grimaced. Christine wondered, but Kody, he did believe, or at least pretended to. By then it didn't matter. Kody had already picked Robyn, had already fallen for the act. And the price? It wasn't dollars and cents, it was trust, it was family, it was forever. Robyn didn't step into a dysfunctional home, she broke it. Her manipulations weren't innocent missteps. They were deliberate moves that slowly redrew the lines of loyalty inside the Brown house. Kody enabled it, Mary endured it, Christine escaped it, Janelle resisted it. And now we're left looking at the ruins of what was once called eternal family. But here's the catch, this was not merely a reality show. This was their life, real pain, real people, real consequences, and no amount of camera tears can reverse that. Behind the marriage scenes was a greater drama. When Robyn came into the family, she didn't exactly bring love in her heart. She brought economic baggage and a script of how things were going to be. TLC provided hints, but the actual tale was hidden in court documents and credit reports. Her divorce had been described as neat, a new beginning, but behind it were commitments, daycare expenses, medical expenses, outstanding bills that vanished when she got remarried. They leaked into her new existence. When Kody wed Robyn, he did not merely marry a woman. He married debt, married responsibility, married a tacit agreement to bear her load. Christine once told it flat out in a confession. Some of us work 2 jobs, some of us have a dozen children, and then there's Robyn. It hurt because it was true. The sacrifice was never equal. And as the years went by, Robyn's history became everybody's cross, because Kody insisted on it. Then came the lawfully wedded marriage. Kody's decision to marry Robyn on paper wasn't just about symbolism, it shifted everything: financial control, medical decisions, custody rights. All roads now led to Robyn. Mary's divorce from Kody was dressed up in language about what's best for the family. But it wasn't about family. It was about legal maneuvering. It gave Robyn the power. And she used it. Whether it was Janelle seeking land rights on Coyote Pass, or Christine demanding a decent place to stay in Flagstaff, all the decisions now ran through Robyn. She did not yell, she did not demand. She just nodded softly and things shifted. She held the veto power, and she used it. Her children were her shield. They were her emotional shield, her justification for a no. Whether it was keeping Solomon from traveling with Mary or requiring Ari to have peace while the family imploded, her children were the justification. Every single time. And all that protection cost her. Robyn's children grew isolated. And the others, Gwendolyn, Logan, Gabriel, they sensed the change. They felt overlooked, left out. Their successes weren't trumpeted the same way. Their challenges weren't broadcast with the same sense of urgency. Slowly, the family began to break apart, not only between spouses, but between generations. The older children began to speak up. Some were estranged. Others, such as Maddie and Pidon, turned to social media, validating what audiences already believed. The peace was lost. Then there was Mary's quiet exit. No drama, no fight, no tears, just silence. A tired silence. After years of emotional starvation, Mary finally saw it. Kody wasn't coming back. And the saddest part, no one seemed surprised. The family had already moved on. Christine had left. Janelle had detached. Robyn was the new matriarch. Mary wasn't a wife anymore. She was history. But her last move was strong. She didn't give up because she was weak. She walked away because she finally put herself first. Mary waited decades for her freedom. She finally walked out the door. Kody's downfall did not occur overnight. It crept in slowly, shrouded in charm and arrogance. He self-dubbed himself the leader, but led with anarchy. His moods seesawed like a pendulum. His favoritism cut deep. His justifications wore everyone out. He blamed Christine for not leaving, Janelle for standing firm, Mary for holding out too long, even his own kids for not conforming to his vision of what family looks like. But the thread that ran throughout was Kody. The legacy of Sister Wives was never really about polygamy. It was about power, about loyalty, about identity. And in the end, it became agonizingly evident. The experiment didn't work, not because polygamy fails, but because this family was broken from the inside out to begin with. Robyn's introduction, Kody's control, the wives' subtle acts of rebellion, it was a toxic mix that no therapy could repair. Yes, the cameras will continue to roll. Yes, spin-offs will ensue. But the family we got to know in season 1, they are not here anymore. All we have left are pieces, unspoken hurts, stories left untold. And for those who were watching at home, one thing is certain. Robyn didn't only join the Browns, she transformed them, for good. While Kody was in a downward spiral of shattered relationships and bruised egos, the darkness off-camera thickened. Janelle sat by herself in her Flagstaff apartment, staring blankly out the window as snow softly covered the ground. Her heart was a battlefield, full of questions, regrets, and unspoken words. She held a cup of coffee, cold, abandoned, much like the family she used to struggle for. Then her phone rang. It was Christine. "Turn on the news," she instructed. Janelle's heart closed up. She turned on the remote, her heart racing. The TV flickered to life with breaking news. Brown family financial inquiry underway. Coyote Pass records subpoenaed. And somewhere else, Robyn, sitting in her comfortable, high-end living room, turned white. Her ideal world, constructed on secrets, favoritism, and meticulously managed stories, was beginning to disintegrate underfoot. Robyn sat rigidly as Kody paced behind her, a man obviously fraying at the edges. The paper trail, the LLCs, the stealth land swaps, the silent draining of money, all of it no longer lay hidden. It was now under federal investigation. As the story broke on television, Mary sat alone in a warm Utah airbnb. She didn't blink. She didn't freak out. She simply sat, serene, nearly vindicated. "I knew this would happen," she breathed to the room. She had stepped away battered, yet not shattered. Kody, however, appeared tormented. His empire was collapsing more quickly than he could keep up. And the IRS investigation, that was just one thing. The truth was on its way, piece by piece of paper, ink by ink signature. Who signed the land transactions? Who diverted the family's funds? Who profited most from Janelle's investments? The questions weren't just whirling, they were converging. Christine, always the straight shooter meanwhile, left a mysterious tweet on social media. Truth always surfaces, even in frozen ground. The internet ignited. Fans theorized. Reddit forums erupted. TikToks broke down each shot. The world of Sister Wives had officially entered the realm of true crime. And then came the bombshell. An anonymous former TLC producer spilled what never aired. Never-before-seen footage of screaming arguments over shared finances, unauthorized buys, and papers, scores of them, hidden away in a safe at Robyn's basement. It was enough. Detectives came to Robyn's house with a warrant. Pandemonium broke out. Robyn wept, begging as Dayton was taken into another room. Aurora remained stunned, clutching Solomon's hand tightly, her face white and bewildered. Kody erupted, fulminating over betrayal and conspiracy. He accused his fingers at Christine, at Mary, anyone but himself. But the officers were not there to witness family drama. They needed facts. Meanwhile, Janelle sat quietly in an attorney's office, not to get questions answered, but to provide answers. She turned over everything, records, emails, bank statements. "Let the truth be known," she said to the lawyer, her voice firm, unwavering. And the truth came out. Over the weeks that followed, the Brown family was no longer trending on social media, it was omnipresent. Every headline, every podcast, every YouTube channel. Once celebrated as a paragon of alternative family togetherness, they were now the subject of national debate. Ethics, betrayal, financial fraud. Then came something no one anticipated. Logan Brown, long silent, was seen in a brief video online. His voice was somber, weighed down by grief. "We were taught we were creating something holy, but perhaps we were only extras to someone else's narrative." His voice broke, and the internet heard it. Robyn's face was ubiquitous, tear-stained, denying, apologizing. But no amount of photo-op tears would be able to prevent what was on its way. Janelle stood tall, Christine stood strong, Mary stood free. And Kody, he stood by himself. Then, just as everyone thought that the narrative was about to reach its peak, another turn of the wheel was revealed. A leaked Zoom recording, made weeks prior to the investigation, was posted online. On it, Kody spoke the words out loud. "I moved the money. It was for the family, for Robyn and the kids. I didn't think that it would come back and bite me." That clip went viral within minutes. It was the missing piece. Suddenly everything made sense. Janelle's lost money, Christine's silent warnings, Mary's vague Instagram posts, Robyn's designer lifestyle. It wasn't just family drama. It was betrayal, high-stakes betrayal. And suddenly the audience wasn't just watching, they were part of it. Detectives, jurors, witnesses to a family collapse. This wasn't just a TV show anymore. This was a reckoning. As the Arizona sun fell below the horizon, long shadows of gold lay out across Coyote Pass. Land that had once stood for their unity now hung in their minds like a curse, a barren monument to what had been lost. In Utah, Christine stood on her porch, gazing out at the still mountains. Her phone vibrated. A text from Gwendolyn. "Mom, Robyn is talking again. She's trying to recreate everything." Christine's heart fell. Robyn was conducting interviews once more, attempting to spin the story, portraying herself as the heartbroken, victimized woman yet again. The same shaking voice. The same hesitation. The same crying. But Christine wasn't going to let it happen. She called Janelle. "It's happening again. She's distorting the truth. We can't remain silent." Janelle didn't hesitate. "Let's do it." Cut to Robyn, sitting on her immaculate white couch, clutching a pillow like it would keep her together. "I never asked for any of this," she tells the cameras in a whisper. "I just wanted peace, a family." Dayton hangs back behind her, hesitating over whether to intervene or leave. Aurora and Brina stand awkwardly offstage, in the shot, but not in the action. And Kody sits alone, huddled in a darkened space. Older, grayer, smaller. "They just keep blaming Robyn," he complains, angry. "But I was done before the world ever knew." He looks directly into the camera, his eyes empty. "This is what they did to me. They left me." But Christine has something else to say. "We didn't leave Kody," she says. "We left behind a man who had already emotionally left us. We just finally acted on it." She and Janelle sit side by side now, in Salt Lake City, in a still room where they once hoped for peace. "We were spiritually starving," Janelle says, hands shaking but voice strong. "You can't keep running after someone who never turns around." Then another wave. A letter Mary penned years before to Kody, personal, full of heartache and yearning, makes its way into the public eye. The media distorts it into something else. "Mary wants back in," the headlines shout. But Mary, alive now on Instagram, holds back tears. "No," she says, "that letter is old. I don't want him back. I want peace. I want people to stop using my pain as a headline." In Flagstaff, Robyn holds on. She cooks dinner, grasps the vision of a perfect wife, of domestic tranquility. But Aurora disappears quietly. She weeps alone in her room. "Why does it all seem so pretentious now?" she whispers. And Kody, where once he was at the center of it all, now he sits alone with Robyn's kids, isolated from the others. He takes up a photograph, one that was taken 10 years ago, all smiling, a family. He grunts, lays it down, and gazes into the silence. "I believed I was doing the right thing. I really did. But now, seeing Janelle, Christine, even Mary, each of them moving into something new, I realize differently. Their worlds are unfolding." Christine and Janelle start a podcast. They title it Rewriting Reality. Their first show, Robyn Behind the Tears, Robyn's True Role. The internet goes crazy. It's a hit. Comments pour in like a wave. "We knew it. Christine was always the heart. Team Janelle forever." But all don't applaud. Robyn listens, in secret. One sentence at a time, each word is like glass piercing through. Then she dials Mary. "We were meant to stand together," she tells her. Mary doesn't blink. One sentence that leaves no wiggle room. "You only ever wanted unity when you were writing the script. I'm done pretending." Click, the line cuts. Silence descends, thick and cold, not the kind from the desert breeze, something deeper. In Flagstaff, Christine stood on her back porch, arms tight around herself. Snowflakes dropped, melting the moment they touched the railings. Laughter inside the house, truly David. Warmth. But outside, her face frozen, her mind elsewhere. There had been a message that morning. Not from Robyn, not from Mary, but from Aurora. "He won't stop crying," it said. "He's locked himself in again. Mom says he blames himself. I don't believe her." Christine's grip on her phone clutched harder. It was about Kody, the man Robyn defended for so long, portrayed as the victim of his own scandal. But now, even Aurora was speaking out. A fissure in the ice. Meanwhile, back at Robyn's stronghold, the delusion was collapsing. Kody appeared more specter than mortal, his formerly blazing eyes dimmed, his beard streaked with gray. He hadn't ventured out in days. The TLC entourage arrived. He pretended to be sick, but the cameras recorded what he didn't. Robyn whispering behind closed doors, Dayton and Aurora patrolling, tears coursing down the corridors. Then Mary arrived. Nobody called her. She hadn't talked to Kody since she announced she was going. But there she was, carrying nothing but a folded-up blanket and years of betrayal inside. Robyn opened the door, mascara smudged. "Why are you here?" "To wrap it up." Mary came in, placed the blanket on the floor, unfolded it. Inside, texts, screenshots, call history, all evidence of Robyn's silent manipulations. Kody heard the yelling. He walked slowly, his body heavy, his heart heavier. When he came into the room, Robyn was on the ground crying. Mary stood frozen. The blanket was empty. The secret's out. "How could you do this to us?" Mary's voice trembled. "You made us feel crazy. You gaslit us. You turned him against everyone but you." Robyn's voice was little more than a whisper. "Because he was coming apart at the seams, and I thought I could keep him together." Kody didn't speak, didn't scream, didn't fight. He simply went back out into the cold, barefoot. Christine's phone vibrated, a video message from Robyn. Her voice shook. "He went out into the snow, Mary. She knows everything. I don't know what to do." Christine observed silently. Then she grabbed her camera, hit record, and uttered a single word. Finally. That evening, the snowstorm was not merely weather. It was judgment. Kody Brown, the so-called conductor of plural harmony, was a man by himself, lost in the white wilderness. No cameras trailed him. No wives pursued him. Not even Robyn. Inside, Robyn was frozen in place, one hand clutching the kitchen counter as if it was the sole thing that anchored her to reality. Her phone rang constantly. Producers. Messages. A ping from Dayton. "Where is he?" She didn't respond. Out in the car, Mary sat with shaking hands, but it wasn't terror. It was vindication, release. She looked down the road where Kody vanished. "You finally saw it," she breathed. Meanwhile, Christine's house was no longer weighed down. It pulsed with intention. She hadn't anticipated feeling release from Robyn's video, but she did. It was the last unraveling, the final not released. She phoned Janelle. "Christine. It's happening." Janelle was in her still kitchen, cold tea in front of her. She didn't ask what Christine meant. She knew, Aurora's missed call. The tension that hung in the air, the fall was complete. "Come over," she said. And Christine did. An hour passed, and they sat in Janelle's living room, sweaters pulled around them, court documents scattered on the coffee table, property deeds, a single envelope in Robyn's hand, old, unopened. Christine pointed at the documents. "We split everything, even Coyote Pass. We do it today." Janelle nodded. "What about Mary?" Christine hesitated. "She's on her own path. She'll either join us or continue to drown in Robyn's world." "Do we tell TLC?" Christine glanced down at her phone. The producers had been quiet of late, waiting, watching, waiting for the dust to settle so they could swoop in. But this time, no. "We tell our story," she said, "not theirs." And a long way from all of them, in the heavy falling snow, Kody stood before a familiar building, the old TLC set, where they used to laugh and film like one big happy family. Now it just looked abandoned. Just like him. Dark, seasonal closure. The vacant building stood as a monolith to all that had been lost. Kody huddled on the steps, made white with snow, his eyes reddened, his teeth clattering. His voice, little more than a breath, shook into the winter air. "I did everything for them. Everything. Why wasn't it enough?" No one replied, but someone watched. In a parked SUV down the street, Logan drove. Dayton sat beside him. They'd been monitoring Kody's activities since Aurora called, scared he was going to hurt himself. Logan took a deep breath, his fingers clenching the steering wheel. "He feels so small now," Dayton said softly. "He always did," Logan said gently. "We just didn't notice it before." Meanwhile, back at Robyn's house, she finally sat down. Her phone was buzzing and buzzing, but she let it drop to the floor, forgotten. Instead, she opened her laptop, shaking fingers, and started typing. Not to the world. Not to the network. To her children. It was an apology, an explanation, a goodbye. "I tried to hold on to him," she wrote, "but he was already gone." Downtown, Christine and Janelle clinked mugs over steaming tea, unaware that this chapter was only the beginning. And all this was happening because somewhere, Mary was preparing to do the one thing no one expected, go public. And when she did, it spread like wildfire. Leaked audio from hidden mics, cryptic tweets, Reddit threads and YouTube breakdowns. The phrase "he walked into the snow" came to be echoing across social media, symbol, catchphrase, and warning. But for the women who outlived him, it wasn't drama. It was freedom. In her plain Utah kitchen, Janelle scrolled through headlines she never thought she'd read. Kody Brown exits after Mary confronts Robyn. Robyn's empire collapses. Christine speaks out with one word. Every click broke a fragment of the illusion they had so meticulously, so frantically constructed. Comments flooded in, some indignant, some cheering, but the questions struck hardest. Why didn't someone stop it earlier? How could nobody notice? Janelle turned off her phone. She picked up her journal. She hadn't opened it in months, not since the letter to Garrison, the one she never mailed. Her hand shook as she turned to the last page. You were the bravest of us, Garrison. You noticed what the rest would not. You spoke up when they were too scared to say. You broke the silence, and you were just getting started. Snow started falling outside again, softly, quietly, a reminder that even in the freezing times, life moves on. In a solitary hotel room, Mary gazed in the mirror. For the first time in years, her image didn't look like a question mark. It was an answer. She grasped her frayed notebook, full of red flags, dates, receipts, all the things she used to dismiss as gut instincts, now supported by fact. And then there was a knock. She had opened the door, assuming housekeeping. It was Christine. The two women stood quietly for a moment. Then Christine raised her phone. Robyn's tear-stained message stuck on the screen. I think it's time, she said. For what? Mary replied. To tell the whole story, on our terms. They sat together on the edge of the bed. No scripts, no filters. Christine pressed record. This isn't a TLC tell-all, she began. This is a truth call. For every woman who was told to stay quiet, for every wife who thought she was going crazy, for every mother who stayed too long for the kids and lost herself in the process. They spoke for over an hour. It was raw, tearful, honest. And within a day, it hit over 2 million views. As the internet blew up, Robyn remained quiet in her darkened home. The electricity still functioned, but the quietness made it seem like the world had closed down. Dayton wasn't picking up. Aurora had barricaded herself in her room, and Kody hadn't returned. By herself, she played Christine and Mary's video. Her eyes ached, her lips quivered. No words. No refutations. Only a plummeting reality. Her meticulously built world had finally broken. Her phone vibrated one final time. A message from TLC. We need a response. Filming resumes tomorrow. Be ready. But she wasn't, not this time. This family saga is far from over. So hit that like button if you're Team Wives. Subscribe for the next explosive installment. And let us know in the comments. Who do you think will rise from the ashes? Stay shady, stay curious. And I'll see you in the next scandal. Kiss Mark, behind TLC. Sister Wives out.